died in rebellion.
No, he doesn't.
You rebel against the law, Prophet Sallallahu say this, you say it with some other man, another average plain Jane Muslim say? Because that's all he was. He wasn't even a saint. He's a plain Jane Muslim lying. And they're going to take his word over what a lot of prophets say? Never be that. Never. Lost one child says that.
No. I mean, I think that people who know the Quran, people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have no doubt about that. But if you don't know, he really did pull a number on the people, And
you guys are basically do like a lost $1 said, oh, you who believe, save yourself and your family.
Right. Right.
So you got a lot on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
You have to concentrate on saving yourself. Well, of course, you're trying to save yourself, save your family.
And then you got to
save his wife. You know what I mean?
And I think, and again, a lot of us
got stuff in a lot of people got stuff in arms in the fire. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of like Jafar and trying to save his family. You got family still in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, because he's really trying to get his family out. That's really what he wants.
And you know,
he got his family out of there, and then everybody gone. He wouldn't have nothing to say about them. He'd probably say, "Man, go do whatever the heck you want to do for his family, his wife, and everything." He's trying to save them, just like Allah says in the Holy Quran.
Yeah.
So you believe, save yourselves and your family from the fire. So they on almost a different mission. And no matter what anybody say on the outside looking in, oh brother, you can't talk about Muslims, you shouldn't do this and he's out, no. You're following Quran. Because this is what Allah tells you to do. Prophet also say, if you see something wrong, stop it with your hand.
With your hand, and if you can't,
stop it with
your tongue. Your tongue.
And which is what's happening now, or present it in your heart. That's the weakest of faith.
But if you
saying anything? No, I ain't saying nothing because I want.
Right.
That's the weak. That's
yeah. And I mean,
Shaitan's gonna come and Shaitan's gonna slither in like a snake that he is, and he's gonna always whisper, try to get you to stop.
And I'm gonna tell you something, because and I'm thinking about again what the brother said, and he has a point where you have to make it plain and simple. What is more important? Is it more important that you figure out whether or not this man was teaching true Islam, or is it more important for you to hold on to what Allah said? Is it more important for you to realize that I am more important, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said I am, than you trying to prove something that is false, right? And you see what I'm saying? So again, our families, we have families, we have family members in there. And if the family members stop and think, is it more important for us to try and prove GilaniIslam, for us to try and prove that Mubarak Gilani was a real sheikh, instead of us trying to resolve our differences with our loved ones, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? You're not allowed to cut off the ties of kinship, okay? That's just wrong. That is just wrong. They cut them off. That's not only that, but, and it's unfortunate. I mean, when somebody is oblivious to something, that means that they practically can be fooled any which way about it. And a good example, again, if you say that he was a Qadri sheikh, okay, but you don't have no silsila, no chain of his Qadiriyah, right? Then if there's really no chain, you yourself now do not have a chain. That means you're not a real Qadri Sufi nothing, right? But if you think about it and you say, is it more important for me to prove that I am a Sufi Qadri Talib, right?
What does that mean? mean, anyway,
Listen, well, just hear me out. Hear me out, okay? But wait a second. Not only that. Here's where you. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. A majority of these people, and by Allah, I kid you not, majority of these people, if not every single one of them, were learning Islam because they wanted to get closer to Sheikh Gilani, to who they believe was Sheikh Gilani. Although they didn't even know who he really was. They didn't know who he was before he came to America and what his true mission to America was. So, again, they're spending all this time trying to get closer and closer to Sheikh Gilani. 40 years trying to get closer to Sheikh Gilani. Now, if you try to make them understand, or you try to get the message to them, whoa, wait a minute, we've already spent 30 years. I mean, that's practically what Khalifa Khalil told me. At the end of the day, you just came here 3 years ago, but Sheikh Shah Saab's been with us for 30-something years. I'm like, I came with the Quran. And I was teaching Quran before I came, and I'm going to be teaching Quran long after I leave here, my friend. And whomsoever, so it's that, it's that kind of a situation where you have to realize that they've been studying GilaniIslam. Like, they've been studying Islam based on of whatever it is they felt would get them closer to him. And here's something else. We have the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? If we really have that, do you really think we'll be exchanging that for anything else?
Well, the problem is this.
Mm-hmm.
That the majority of the people that's there, right, was born into it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're born into it. And so they have a different mindset. The old heads are gone, died off, left, gone. The ones that's in there, they're still there, they're disgraced. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what he was saying, so you got to give them leeway.
The children, they just, they were born into that.
Yeah.
And so
that's all.
Been blocked off, all different avenues, been trying to, how you going to tell somebody, don't use your cell phone, don't tune in this, that. That's total dominance. Whoever heard of that? Grown men, don't
Stop.
turn your cell phone. Don't you in trouble.
That is kind of funny. That is funny. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you can't say something like that to somebody unless you feel as though.
Well, no, not only. Well, it's unfortunate. He actually said that on the day of judgment, whomsoever did that, he will intercede that they go to hellfire if they gave cell phones and whatnot. But yeah, that he's going to intercede. He's going to ask Allah to put the people in hellfire who gave their children cell phones.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So that was, and don't forget. Again, it's people and consider the circumstances that, like you said, people, majority of them have been born into it, and that's all they've been servicing. They've been listen. They've been servicing that, because if they really did have the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you would not exchange that for anything. If you really do have the way of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, you will not exchange it for anything or anyone.
The bottom line is, listen, because they were born into it, right? Their whole Islam has been shaped, right?
Right.
From childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into thinking, you know what I mean? Number one, they break off the brotherhood.
Right.
They're taught from day one,
mm-hmm.
you're not allowed to play with them other Muslims over there.
Mm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to hang out with them other Muslims over there. If they ain't not with us, right, then you're not. That's a heavy thing to carry, man, for 20, 30, 40 years.
You're right.
You know, I mean, come on.
And I was listening.
Realistic about this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we beating up you know. I mean,
And you know what? You know, and here, let me explain. Let me tell you something, okay? I've been reading up on the life of Sayyidina Uthman. This is where the fitna broke out, and what I'm getting is that there are always infiltrators in the ummah, right? And they don't just infiltrate to figure out what's going on. They infiltrate to destroy. Okay? Right. And the ayah of the Quran that Sayyidina Uthman bin Affan tries to remind them that those who have deviated and create sects have nothing to do with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nothing to do with him. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا, and they turn into different sects. لَسْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ. You have nothing to do with them. And so what you're saying, just like what you're saying, don't associate with those Muslims. This knowledge is not for every Muslim. You know, if you don't like what my sheikh is teaching, you can go find your other sheikh. This is all creating sects. This is all encouraging division. And as a matter of fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
But this is the whole thing, Hafiz. We talking this because we know better. But I'm telling you, they don't have a clue.
Well, actually, no, I disagree. They don't have a clue. They have a clue, but they resent the clue that they have. They resent the facts that they have. They don't want to listen. They don't want to speak because, now there's a reason. And we have to understand. Imagine you've been born into it, raised, indoctrinated into it.
Right.
It is abnormal for you to say anything against it. Abnormal. You can think all you want to.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? But for you to talk
one way for 30 years.
Exactly. You gotta give them, like Jamal was saying, you gotta give them leverage. You gotta give them love. You just have to be patient and you gotta be respectful. But you have to be very clear. Just like the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, you have to be very direct, and in a passionate way. But they have a clue. They know, and I'm beginning to actually see, you understand, how it is that they function. So they're functioning practically in a way where it's like, we know we're not all right, but nobody is all right. Nobody is perfect. But for now, we just going to keep our mouths shut until we have a way out. For now, everybody is just, we know, we hear what they're saying, but we just going to hold on until we have a better way out. That's all they're saying.
I think.
Nobody, just imagine, no one in their clear mind. And I know people who are real on the path of Sufi tariqah and they really believe, but I have never known or seen a single individual, Sufi or not, to say that I am actually at this very stage, at this very verge, I am prepared to sacrifice all that I have to meet my sheikh right now, today, at this very moment. And don't go nowhere, just sit right there in your khalwa. Just sit right there in the khalwa and don't do anything else. I have not seen that individual yet. Not. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you heard, right? If we really are about the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, would we be running after this world? If we are given the choice between this world and the akhirah, and we really are following Prophet, we should choose the akhirah. We should not be choosing this world, right? So what exactly would you be claiming to be going after if you went after this one man in his grave? It doesn't make any sense,
It's misguided. I mean, that's why it don't make sense.
It does, right. So what I'm saying, but they're not, unfortunately, you have somebody like, Hussein Adams, and he's up there talking Trinity, man. I mean, he's actually, literally what he said was that the Sufis were on the path of the Trinity. You understand? Like, the Sufi path does not deny the Trinity. And I'm like, yo, listen, man, just go to the Quran, okay? He said some Muslims, what he said was some Muslims call Christians, the follower of Jesus, call them mushriks, that they're committing shirk. But it's not shirk, because Sufis believe in the concept of this ideology. But what he's making mistake about is that he doesn't know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا, that they are kuffar, those who say that Isa is the son of Mary. They're kuffar. What are you talking about? And that's a problem. You understand? But that proves itself. Like, how close are you really trying? And the problem is, like, right now you're portraying to be a Sufi, which unfortunately, unless you have a true chain, you don't have a Sufi order. But you're really not explaining, the true history behind your makeup. You're not really talking about the fact that, he could not come here because of him being on a flight risk. You're not saying that the FBI placed him, in the spectrum of the CIA when they communicated or they connected him to bin Laden. You're not saying any of that stuff. You're not saying the fact that, yes, he was actually contracted over to break up the GilaniIslam. You're not saying any of that. If you're not saying any of that, then you definitely should not be showing, these confusing videos. They got such confusion. And you should not be talking about Sufi so much. He ordered a bunch of assassinations. Give us a break.
Yeah, but they don't have a leg to stand on.
No, they don't. But that's probably why they have a clue, right? They're starting to wake up. The kids are not stupid. They're smart. The kids are smart, but you just. It is too much information.
It's just too much info.
Mm-hmm.
Online and stuff, all these sheikhs talking and giving dawah, giving coupons all over the place. I mean, Islam is not hitting no more like it.
No. People are waking up about Islam, alhamdulillah.
Before the internet, like I said before the internet, you know what I mean? People was relying on us to go knock on their doors and give dawah. We wasn't doing that.
Right.
We kept Islam to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew about Islam too much because we didn't tell you.
We were not out there. Yeah. And then a lot of people who were getting, Islam were not, we're really getting a very watered down version of it. And that shows today. How can you say you're a Muslim, but you do not know the Shahada? And I was shocked. People not only don't know the Shahada, or people who do know the Shahada don't even know what it means to live by the Shahada. If you don't have that Shahada, how do you have your Salah? It's like, it's one of those things where you're saying to yourself, you got to go back to the drawing board, And and then you have to do it with a lot of passion, with the heart of Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam, who did it for the reward of Allah.
The bottom line is the group is a handful of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're not significant.
Right?
The only thing, and alhamdulillah, they're not giving dawah.
Alhamdulillah, they're not giving They're on the internet. They are on the internet. They're giving those videos. And the video that I'm talking about, there's a video.
They ain't giving no dawah.
There's a video where he's talking about.
And they're not putting, people not coming into that. Nobody's coming into that. Nobody comes to that.
Because what he's saying, I mean, I saw.
The people that came to that organization, I can't even count on one hand. Wallahi. Since I I've been out here 22 years, since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And wallahi, I can only count one person that came and took Shahada off the street, out in the neighborhood, right? Came on the land, took Shahada, became a Muslim, so-called, right?
In 20-some years.
And stayed with them and hung out with them. Well, I can't count none because he left.
Because he left?
And he was a fag.
He was a fag. Astaghfirullah. Oh, I remember. Yeah, you're right. Because was that was the one who was in the Hafiz class, the light-skinned one.
He's going to the church.
I remember that.
And he was wearing the wig.
He was wearing a wig. I remember.
The only person, and you kill him, and I don't even count him. And so basically, nobody. Since I've been down here, 19.
And I'm gonna have to dissect the video, because in his video, there's a video he's talking about Sufi practice or whatever, and he says that this is not for people who just become Muslim, or not for people who don't want to practice Sufi. So if that's the case, why do you put it up to the public so everybody can see it? You know, why do you put that kind of mess up? But it's worse. This man, what he says is also like, everything I'm going to say is from Quran and Sunnah. And the next thing you know, he picks up a little book that we don't even know, Abdul Qadir Jilani, and it's
like reading to us like he taught.
Like, right. And if you...
And he reading us stories to see.
Right. Says he's going to establish some nisbah. But if you got it from Imam Ali, then why do you need Abdul Qadir Jilani? There's a reason why he says, I met Imam Ali, but then I got the Qadri order, because Ali ibn Abi Talib don't have no Sufi order.